Welcome, everyone. I am Dr. Dream, and you are here for an episode of the It's All Good Show. And today, I am beyond honored to welcome a true pioneer in integrative healing and energetic wellness. Joining me is Dr. David Stella. He is the founder and director of the Las Vegas Holistic Center, where he's been serving the Las Vegas community for over 27 years. Dr. Stella brings a deeply unique approach to health and performance. He's a chiropractor who specializes not only in structural alignment, but in energy medicine, combining traditional Chinese meridian analysis with cutting-edge wellness practices, ancient wisdom, and modern neuroscience. Trained under experts including Dr. Robert Marshall and of PR Labs and shamanic teacher Dr. Alberto Vialdo, Dr. Stella has spent decades mastering the interpretation of the body's natural energy field and helping people tap into their own innate healing potential. His practice blends functional medicine, energetic mind-body clearing, biofield education, and advanced modalities such as frequency work, red light therapy, lymphatic support, and the 32-unit energy enhancement system to help people move beyond symptom management toward true vitality. Dr. Stella's mission is simple yet very profound: to help people understand their body's wisdom, gain clarity, and unlock lasting health, ease, and joy. Today, we dig into his evolution from chiropractor to energy medicine expert, the science and heart behind his approach, and how integrating structure and frequency can transform not just pain, but the entire human experience. I have been blessed to spend time with Dr. Stella and his equally amazing partner, business partner and life partner, Gina Perro. And it has the example that the two of them put out there, the way they run their business, the way they run their energy just in general, has been inspirational to myself and to Stephanie. And Dr. Stella, welcome to the It's All Good Show.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much. Are we done now? That was it, right?
I have so many questions for you. You're really in for it.
Oh, we just started. Okay.
No, this is I've been waiting for this interview. I've known you for several years now, and we did some events at your center. We've also had the opportunity to have some outside of work moments together, and it's been a treat. And then, as you know, we kind of went back and forth on getting this all set up. So it's like, here we are, third time's a charm. I gotta love it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I really want to start off by just asking, what drew you into chiropractic to begin with?
Well, my father, so my mom and dad, they were in this sort of healing environment at a very young age. They met at a ranch. It's called Rancho La Puerto in Tecate, Mexico. They have a golden door in San Diego, and it's where people learned in the 60s how to eat and how to be healthy. So I grew up already in this. My grandmother worked there. That's where my mom and dad met. What I'm teaching today is really what they were teaching in the 60s. You know, this is the ranch where you would project love into a flower and it would survive, and you project hate into a flower, it would die. I mean, this is where it kind of came from, was this ranch for my mom and dad. So my dad was going into the chiropractic realm. He had us, and then so he's popped out of school and then just became, you know, the provider of the family. So I always had it in the back of my mind that chiropractic was there. And then I got in a car accident and I thought, oh, I'll go to a chiropractor. And it was amazing. Just the structural alignment and how my back felt and how simple it was and the progression it took to get there. I thought this was the path. And I was working with energy since I was 14. I read a book about the kahunas. And then I started rubbing my hands together and I started doing this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'm putting my hands, on people's eyeballs, at 15 years old. I'm trying to open doorknobs, the doorknob's not working. But the thing on the human body, that was really amazing. So I thought if I'm a chiropractor, then, I could be called a doctor because we go to school for enough years to get our doctorate. And I thought, well, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe this is how I can get into energy work because and I didn't know why. I didn't realize it was going to take 10 years to kind of evolve into energy work because people will come in as chiropractic patients. I would work on them structurally, but I knew that there was a whole bunch more going on. There was more going on with their the frequency of their body by what the foods they were eating and the stress and all that, the toxicity, their immune system was low, but also there was an energetic component that was there too. And I went down the road of like 12, 13 years of just hardcore chiropractic, just getting my hands on a lot of people. And I think that's why it kind of helped me along is because I was touching so many people. I was working on so many people every single day that it kind of rolled into this, okay, the adjustments aren't working here. What else? And then I got into functional medicine. I got into the meridians, the frequency of the body, the muscle testing. And this is where Dr. Marshall came in with Premier Research Labs. Premier Research Labs is one of the only live source companies out there where when they pick a mineral or a vitamin and it goes through processing, it still has light at the end of it. There's still light that goes into your body. Consumer Reports did a report that 97.5% of all supplements are dead. So if you're not muscle testing or somehow putting that frequency of whatever magnesium into your field and you feel it, you either expand or lean forward for people or muscle test it, you don't really know if that magnesium is a fit for you. So then I started doing meridian testing. Like you would take your hand, you put it on your thyroid, I'd muscle test you. So I pull, apart your fingers here. And let's say you put pressure on your thyroid and your strength goes weak, you can't hold it. Then I put something in your field, like iodine, that matches the frequency of your thyroid. So basically it's about, 6 inches from you. Then it goes into your light field. And then your body will either get strong or expand, or it'll get weak, or it won't do anything. So there's like 37 points all over your body that we have these that correlate to different organs, different parts of our body, like our neurological system. So I would take an hour and a half and do all this, and I'd be like, okay, that's too long. And then I started doing it just empathically, just going into their body, filling their liver, put something in there, from my library of things, put something until I feel something light. And that takes me like 5 minutes now. And of all the things to do the whole body, and it could be in person, it could be, remotely. But what I found is if I can teach a person how to put this in their field and get that light feeling, that, oh yeah, my body likes this, or get that heavy feeling, my body doesn't like this, then that teaches them their intuition. So I went from
Right.
chiropractic to functional medicine, teaching them about their intuition, about anything, about does my body want to hang out with that person? Does it want to work at that job? Because you're really talking to the heavenly realm when you talk to your body like this. And I think that's one of my main things coming through here is that portion of teaching people they have an energy field, especially through COVID. Do I take that thing? Well, ask your body. I'm not going to tell you what to do or not do. Ask your body. If we hear a big story about something and our mind gets connected to it. Mind, stay over here. I'm going to ask my body. I got some information. I'm going to ask my body. So, body, is this something that you would like to do? No. Well, that's weird. This is where the truth is. This is where points of views are, right, wrong,
Right.
good or bad, an illusion, a trickery, a lie, it may be a truth, but this is just information. The brain has information, but the body can answer that if you ask a question to the body. So that took me into maybe if stop me if I'm talking too much, Dr. Dream,
Oh
because I
my God,
love
not at all. You're doing great, and I'm on the edge of my seat here. I'm loving this.
so then I'm getting to the place where I can literally remember the day where I'm, have my hands on the back of someone's head and I'm tapping into, their body, whether it's their digestive system, hormones, whatever it is. And then I'm feeling this sort of energy, like this heavy energy. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, all right. So I just kind of lift my hand up and I pull the energy off. Like, oh my God, and the guy went like, oh, what was that? And that was probably, I think, 12 years ago, where that was my moment of, I'm going to start doing energy work now. Because when people come in and they have tension and tightness and all this, a lot of this is energy on their body that is not theirs. So we're just big empathic human beings. We're more empathic than we realize. When we are in a space of no judgment, not judging ourselves and not judging others, and we have all this tension, that typically means that we have picked up other people's stuff. And you can say, body, this is an access consciousness tool. So you can say, body, who does this stuff I'm feeling, this density, this heaviness, all this stuff, who does this belong to? And you'll feel a lightness coming off of you. And then you can say, body, are you willing to give this back now? And saying willing gives your body a choice. So the body goes, yeah, I want to give it back. And so this is like you take a physical shower every single day. This is a simple energetic shower tool. Body, who does this belong to? Feel it lift off. Body, you wanted to give this back now. And it lifts off and you're good. If it doesn't leave, if it goes back in your stomach, that means you have contracts to things you signed in a different lifetime that you brought into this lifetime. You didn't know what you signed up for. It's informed consent. So all the contracts that we come into this lifetime with basically are not, we didn't get the informed decision. Like, I think I'll have cancer this lifetime, or I think I'll be unworthy in this lifetime, or I think I'll just overthink in my head too much in this lifetime. Anything that we can't get past are typically contracts. And that's a little bit more complicated, but at least the easy thing is do the energetic shower of, I got this pressure on my head, body, who does this belong to? And body, are you willing to give it back now? It's a really great empathic tool. People that judge themselves or people that judge others, this is a big reason why things do not leave because of judgment. Judgment we have of ourselves or judgment that we have for other people. So you want to sit there and you want to go, okay, so how much do I judge myself? And if it's high, then you want to make yourself interesting. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about myself, and say it 3 times. And that typically gets that point of view, that judgment out of your body. If you have a point of view about somebody else or something else, interesting. You have to make everything just interesting. Keep above it. Interesting point of view. I have a point of view about that. There's another access. I love access consciousness, and anything I have a tool, I'll reference it because I really am happy about what they come up with. Um, you can say, interesting point of view I have a point of view about that thing, say it 3 times, and then your point of view or judgment leaves. What happens is if we do not connect the dots to judgment of ourselves or judgment of other people to how we feel, we're not going to get to a resolution in many ways to releasing all this stuff that we have unnecessarily. And once we connect the dot to judgment and discomfort or judgment and dis-ease, once we connect the dots, is judgment even worth it?
Right.
It's not even worth it. Why judge ourselves? Why judge anybody else? It's just an awareness. Yeah, I don't want to hang out with that person. Okay, got it. I'm not going to judge them. I'm just not going to hang out with them. You can be in a room full of people and you're all knowing, being and receiving, and there's no points of views, and there's no judgment, and there's no stubbornness, there's no belief systems. It's just about what is light for you, the truth, and what is heavy is a lie. That is ultimately how people can get on the road to health and well-being, is to lose your points of views. Get rid of them. Get rid of your belief systems because you don't even know where you got them from. Get
Right.
rid of your judgments. Get rid of your stubbornness. Stubbornness to a point is okay, but stubbornness past that point is a hard head. And Dr. Dream, clearing a person with a hard head is hard. Okay. Working with kids, things come off so easy. They have no points of views. They have no judgments. They're not stubborn. Clearing houses, houses are easy. That's not mine. Goodbye. But us as humans, as we get older, we got all these, these things that create these densities that create matter, that create a dis-ease in the body. And I do my best to keep myself just clear of points of views, of judgments, of belief systems, and just stay with, is that light for me? Is that the truth for me? And my truth might be different from your truth. Garlic. You put garlic in my field, my body goes, nope. You put garlic over here in that person's field, oh, that garlic is good for you. It could be with religion. It could be something you learned in a book. I read all kinds of books and I think, oh, that feels like a really cool statement. Body, what about that statement? So I don't like grab a hold of one thing and say, yeah, and all inclusive, this is it. I pick it apart of what is light for me in that scenario. So going down the road of chiropractic to functional medicine to energy medicine um, is is amazing in the sense of we're getting to a point now where we can very closely expand our mass consciousness to heal faster. That's where we're coming to. Because energy medicine is just our energy. It's just what we're putting in our body, what we're putting in our thoughts, what we're putting in our words, what we're putting ourselves in a system that can activate this and give us energy. I mean, and now people are healing faster. Our mass consciousness is allowing us to accept the fact that we can instantly heal ourselves
Right.
much faster than we've ever had. Before, it's like, I got to go to the doctor for 18 months. I'm going to take this medication till I die. That's kind of what we were up against and still are. I have to take this high blood pressure medication till I die. I'm never going to heal. It's crazy that people are on medications until they die. Is this something, I'm not a medical doctor, but body, is this something that you would continually take? And that's what I tell people. And I tell them to go see their medical doctor, but just ask your body, get in the awareness of what this is. Oh my gosh, if we teach kids at a very early age about light and heavy, about learning their intuition. Imagine learning early on about the truth of things
Right.
and not just getting slid into a system.
So,
So,
Dr. Stella, as easy as it is becoming for us to heal ourselves, what about the challenges that we have now, the barrage of media and that manipulation and everything that maybe wasn't present 20 years ago? Is
okay.
how does that play into everything?
Well, I would say be just very mindful of what you listen to, you know, because it's like epigenetics, and it's Bruce Lipton, and he did this thing, and I'll explain it to you really quickly. But basically, what we're looking at, what we're listening to, what we're eating and smelling, these are our receptors, right? This is how we take information in from our environment. This is how we take information in. And it goes into our internal environment. So our cells have this cell membrane around it, and the cell membrane is the brain of the cell, not the nucleus, which we thought was, for years, Newtonian science, the brain was, but quantum science tells us that the brain of the cell is the cell membrane, the outer layer. And all those on the outer layer of that cell are receptor sites, like all these things. So we have receptor sites that take in the information from out here, goes in the body, and then it goes into the cell. So what we're listening to and what we're looking at is going to make a difference in the epigenetics, the health of your body. When you look at someone and you see someone you love, or see a picture you love, or you see an ocean or a loved one, that information goes into your body and it gets you into this parasympathetic dopamine, growth hormone glowing healing phase. But if you're looking at something that scares you, you're going over into the sympathetic nervous system of cortisol, fight or flight. And this is something where it builds walls and it starts to come in on you. And there's no healing here. There is no recovering. There's no libido. You can't make babies when you're being chased by a tiger, right? You can't fight a cold over here. So the more we can look at things that we love, the more that we can listen to things that make us feel expansive and eat foods that make us have a high frequency in our body and smell things like a rose that create a sensation within us, that is creating a health in our body. So we really have to pay attention to what we're looking at or who we're listening to or what we're eating, because that in the end. Now, on the other side of it, we have Wi-Fi. We have a lot of things that are compressing our millivolts in our body. This is something that our bodies can get used to, but in 2022 is when I got the EE system, the energy enhancement system. I got it in June of 2022. And it was so interesting because we have this BioWell camera. This BioWell camera takes a picture of your Biofield. You familiar with a camera,
Yeah,
Dr. Green?
absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we have the BioWell camera. I've been doing the camera for about 8 years before 2022. So I had the camera for a long time. I would test, the people and see where the thyroid is, or see where the liver is, or see where their energy was. And the BioWell rates the energy in joules, the storage of energy in your body. And 50 joules on this diagram is normal. 50 joules is normal. Well, up until that point of June of 2022, people's joules were like status quo. When June of 2022 happened, maybe July, all of our joules in our body went down to like 28 across the board. We all got compressed. And I'm like, what? I thought I got compressed because I test myself all the time. Like, why am I down to this? Am I fighting, cold? No. I'm feeling compressed, but I don't know what this is. And I kept testing people, and I kept testing, and I'm like, this is not just me, this is everybody. And I think they must have turned something up at that time. They must, I'm not saying it's 5G, I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying something happened for my camera to go from 50 to 27 in a month. We're crawling our way out of it. We're like at 37. After people get into the EE system, it increases the millivolts or the joules of the body, so their body can increase the millivolts, so the body can, do its job to self-heal itself. But we definitely got compressed over the last few years. That's what I would say is, and that's why we have a remote program. I would feel really good in the system, and I would walk outside and be like, well, here it is again. I'm compressed again. Like, what am I gonna? And I live in Las Vegas. There's 1,000 cell towers in a 3-mile radius of my office. There's 1,000
Wow.
of them. Okay. Because I'm near the airport. So we're compressed. But if I go way up Summerlin, there's like 75 towers maybe up there, or Boulder City out there. But we're definitely compressed here. When I would test somebody from this parts in California, they would come in and their joules were 50. And I'm like, where do you live? California? I says, what's different there? Oh, we banned 5G. It doesn't in our county, we just didn't have it. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm not saying this is 5G. I'm just saying what I heard. People that come from remote parts of the world, because we have people coming from all over the world into our center in the first year. People that live in remote areas were at 50 joules. So I know there is some correlation to living in a city and being compressed. So, we figured out a remote system, we put people in there, and then when they're out and about, they still feel, especially very sensitive people, they still feel they're not being compressed like they were before. So, but that's what we're looking at more now is stuff that's in the air, in the, on our food and all that. But because this is all compressing, all the toxins are compressing, lowering our body's ability to heal itself. So when I come to the physical side, you got to get things that cause inflammation out of your body. You got to realize that food may not be food anymore. I mean, you go to Italy and you eat bread and pizza and wine, you're good. But you have bread over here, it's not the same. We just got to be real about it. We just genetically modified our food since the 50s, and it's not bread anymore. But it looks like bread. It's not bread. It's
Right.
different. Okay. And what you're drinking, your kidneys are the ministry of power in your body. That is the root of life. And whatever you're drinking is running through those kidneys. So how you power up your kidneys and how you cleanse your kidneys is the essential organ of your body, because the energy that's stored in your kidneys can actually help the rest of your body. So we have to eliminate things that just don't make sense to our bodies. That's why light and heavy makes sense, because people could be addicted to soda and then they go, I'm addicted to soda. Okay, so body, what about this can of Coca-Cola? And you get the heavy. Like, oh my God, it's heavy. The heaviness overrides the addiction. It's amazing. Once you separate the addiction from the light and heavy of it, because once you feel this, it's like talking to a 6-year-old child and going, do you want this Coca-Cola? No, I don't like it. Okay. You're not going to give the kid a Coca-Cola,
Right.
right? But that's what your body's like. I don't want it. Okay. All right. So the fight of the sugar battle becomes minimal. Then you got to get the toxicities out, like bentonite clay is really good to get metals out of your body that we're eating and drinking and breathing. We want to get these metals out. Cilantro is another really great way of getting metals out of our body. So remove inflammation, stop eating things that don't make sense. We can teach people how to test light and heavy for their body. Bentonite clay, cilantro, learn how to get metals out of your body, the toxins out of your body, because they're in there, folks. I mean, they're in there. You got to get them out, okay? Because this is all lowering your immune system. And when all this happens, your immune system starts to go up. And when you do therapies like the EE system, the red light therapy, whatever you want, your mind, connecting to I am healed. Body heals faster when it's not contaminated.
Now, all of this, does that then change the amount of joules, or is there a direct correlation there? Or talk to us about that, because that concerned me when you were talking about that. And all of a sudden, I was really happy that I live in rural Idaho.
Well, when you start to remove inflammation and remove the toxicity, your body's ability to heal quickens. Just like it's like people that go into the system, the E system. Some go in there for 6 hours, like I'm feeling the best I have, since I can remember. And some people need to spend 100 hours. I really believe it's those people. Number one, some people are ready. Some people's mass consciousness is ready. Like, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to heal myself. And I tell you how just remind me where I'm at. We have this 6-year-old savant that she's a dancer. No, she's 9 years old. And she comes to see Gina, but she comes into our center. She came in for the first time last week from California. And she's gonna be in college in the age 13. And I said, what would you like to do today? She says, I want to be put in a pod. I want to be put in a pod where I can instantly heal. This is a 9-year-old.
Wow.
And I said, well, pretty soon. But 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 the mass consciousness is in 2 days prior to that. I have a friend that remote views. He goes to different places, the Galactic Federation. And he says, Dave, they took me to this place where they have these pods and they just go in the pod and they heal themselves. And I said, Sam, that's called a med bed. They've been talking about that because he has no idea about the health side. He says, oh, a med bed. Then I'm thinking, okay, if the med bed is already out there, then I can tap into the frequency of the med bed. We all can.
Right.
So I'm gonna make a virtual med bed. I'm gonna make a virtual. People lay there, and anyone can do this. Dr. Dream, anyone can do this. I'm gonna make a virtual med bed, and and the med bed has its own intelligence, and I'm gonna connect the person to the med bed, so there's a connection, and I'm gonna tell the person to hit the on button, and then just relax. And I started this like 2 weeks ago, and then I just sit back and you feel the swirling happening and the recoding. The word is recode. Things are pulled out, recoded, and put back in your body again. It takes like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Hit the off button and hang on for dear life, because some people are like very sore for 3 days. Some people are feeling the best they've ever. This is a virtual. Why not? Can't we all do this? A virtual med bed. It's out there. I feel it. It's out there somewhere in the universe, maybe here, but it's definitely out in the universe where we can connect to it if we have the consciousness to accept it. Well, this little girl, this 9-year-old girl in the med bed, the next day she's dancing with Gina. Gina's lining her up. She kicks herself in the head with her shin. Boom, just about knocks herself out. She says, oh my God, I kicked myself in the head. It's the first time I've ever done that. And she says, I got a little headache. I'm going to put myself in the med bed for 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
That's amazing.
This is this is where it's happening. I mean, people see the things out there. I see miracles happening every single day in my office. I don't even look at the news. I can't even connect to what is going on because there's so much magic happening all around us with people coming in through here, just random people walking in doing their thing. But that's the exciting part about our imagination and our mass consciousness. When people go into the EE system, it's a different experience for everybody. We don't guarantee anything, obviously. We just have them read the testimonials, have them go in, and everyone's experience is different. So what is more important? Is removing toxins out of our body the most important thing, or removing inflammation out of our body the most important thing? It's our imagination is the most important thing. Because right now, I am pulling out information, recoding, not me. I go through the creator, so I'm just a witness. So anytime I say me, I'm just a witness to what things happen. I just ask for information to be recoded and put back in the body where it makes them younger, stronger, and healthier. Why can't we do that? Why can't we make the things that are already in us and around us, just make them a little bit different, recode them into something else? So I don't believe, I mean, for so long, it's like we got to get this stuff out. And yes, there is something to that, but there is something to just recoding it. Like that med bed kind of taught me, we're just recoding it. We're not making anything different. We're just recoding it and putting it back in. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's so
Okay.
powerful. One of the things I really love about your work and how you approach everything is how empowering it is for anyone that comes into contact with you, let alone the people that'll watch this conversation we're having. Now, you and I met because of Dr. Sandra and the EE system. Go a little deeper into your experience with the EE system, how it's changed your practice, some of the things you've seen. Because we're all. I mean, I'm one of those miracles myself, but I love to hear other stories.
Well, right before I met Dr. Sandra, we have an astrologer. She's passed away now, and she says you're gonna meet someone, and you're gonna be a part of this big, big, big movement. And she said med bed, this astrologer. She said med bed. And I said, I don't know about a med bed yet, but okay. And so then I'm looking at different therapies. I'm running all over town. I look at Therify, which is a bulb. I'm looking at, I said, what can I buy, next? Because I always want to be a contributionist. So what can I buy next? That's a contribution so people can heal, right? I don't ever say, how can I make another, 10,000? I go, what's my contribution? How can I be a contribution so I can do something? That's always how the door opens for me. Well, then I'm about ready to buy two of these Therify things. And then we have a chef, and the chef's husband is a naturopath. He's 80 years old. He's a wizard. And he says, and at that night, I went to pick the food up, and usually it's Gina picking the food up. And I'm telling him about the Therify. I think I'm going to buy the Therify tomorrow. He says, just wait, I used to work with this lady named Dr. Sandra. I want you to call her and see about that first before you buy anything. Because literally, this was at my leasing company. I already got approved for these things, like 60 grand worth of stuff. So Gina and I go to dinner the next day, and I called Dr. Sandra, and this is when she was receiving a lot of phone calls. This is in, I think, early June or right there. And I called her and I left a message, and she called me back, and I said, "Oh, how wonderful, that you're calling me back the same day. It's amazing. I know you're busy." And I said, I'm a chiropractor here in town, and I'm in energy work. And her and I hit it off really fast. I mean, I love talking to someone that can get me, but also can be a mentor to me too, because when I test people for things like unconditional love, and I test Dr. and I asked her, can I test you on things? And I just want to see where you're at energetically with things and make sure you're 100% who you say you are. And she is 100% unconditional love. She
Mm.
is this, she is that. She comes, like, I test her to make sure she's not thinking that she's something, right? Because we all could be thinking we're talking to God, but we're talking to a snake. So people can be disillusioned or tricked by things. And she came into this planet already just about full. Like the things that we're having to pull off and take out, she already came in with it all gone. So she came in as like this, I don't know, a channel of some nature. But anyone that can sit down and talk to her one-on-one or on the phone, this lady is for real.
Yeah.
And so when I was going to buy 8 unit, and then I went to like, oh, okay, buy a 12 unit. And then I'm thinking, okay, so what's the contribution? And believe me, all of them are good. I mean, all of them, some people, the 8 unit is fabulous, and some people, the 12 unit is fabulous. It's not one is better than the other. It's just what your body resonates at for each one. So for me, it was a 24. 24 came up light. It was the amount of money I had in the bank. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend every penny I got. I think it was $500 left over. And I'm like, Gina, you're gonna have to make payroll this week or this month if this thing doesn't work out. Literally. And I've taken chances before, and I don't have a problem. I got to that place where I'm fine losing everything. I got to that place because I was there, and I'm like, I prefer keeping myself intact than the fear of losing something.
Right.
And the fear of losing something is, I think, what grips most people into not succeeding, you know. But for me, it was like, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, great. I'm intact. All my pieces, my chakras, my body, my nervous system is intact. And then we put it in, and it was the most incredible experience of people coming in from all over the place that were like me, that I had never met before. Like everyone's hiding under a rock or behind something or doing their own little. But I thought all these light workers started coming out, and I met the most incredible people from South Korea. Some people drove down from Alaska. I mean, so many people bought units after they came to our center. It was some people came in to test it before they bought it, but some people did it for their own health and then bought it because of that. So there was like two types of business owners and people that healed from, did their healing from it and wanted to share it with the world. Um, so there's so many things I've seen in this. It's become to a place where we say miracles, but miracles should be just an everyday thing. You go
Right.
in there and you heal. See you later. Tell someone about us. Ask for referrals. It's okay. Um, and that's kind of where it's got here. Is we got to this place where, oh, my shoulder, this and that, and then, sounds good. Love you. See you later. And I think they want, but what about this? Stars and the fireworks and all this. And I said, it's just another day at the office. But it's kind of where we want it to be, right? We don't want it to be, oh my God, it's a one in a million.
Right.
We
Exactly.
want it to be a million, and maybe one needs a little help. So seen a lot of things with we had a lady come in that had rheumatoid for 20 years in her wrists, stem cells, all the things. Spent 6 hours in there and crying, like I can't believe, that this is where I'm at right now. I mean, it's incredible. Um, I look at it more on what I can gauge, and that is with my BioWell camera. I can see that the stress decreased, and I can see the energy of the cell increased. And that's really what I want to see. I want to see you going into parasympathetic rest and relaxation so your body can heal. And I want to see the energy of your cells increase so your body can do its job to self-heal. And that is what I love the most about having the camera and this system. If nobody came out with their stress decreased and nobody came out with their energy increased, I'd be like, okay,
Right.
I made a mistake. But I already tapped into it before. I knew this was already going to be I mean, I didn't go into this kind of blind. But anyone that wants to buy a BioWell camera or they're going to have all kinds of different devices to show heart rate variability. Roland is coming out. The team is coming out with things to do. Dustin, the whole team at the E system, they're coming out with ways that we can gauge the before and afters. And that's what people like to see. They feel good and they feel calmer, but they don't really realize how dramatic that is. So energy, well, in 2022, the joules of the body went down, the energy went first, and then the physical body takes a longer time to match it. Same thing with when the body's low energy and you raise the frequency of the body, the physical body takes some time to match it. I think we're not at that point where our bodies can just physically go healed,
Right.
right? There is a physical part to it that's getting faster. Granted, I see it here all the time, but I see the energy shifted, but the physical body sometimes has to go through some pain and suffering, and sometimes it doesn't. But that's I don't think people connect that they feel less stress and more energy, how important that is to their health. They just don't. Because if people understood what stress did for them, kills them, they wouldn't stress out. It's like another Bruce Lipton thing. Your mind sees everything, all the crazy around you, and then you have this place called perception. So you perceive all the things around you. Then that perception sends a signal to your brain that gets you in fight or flight or gets you in rest and relaxation. So we all have the things around us, all the crazy things your mind sees, but this is the place to actually look behind you, your eyes, to see that there is no tiger. There's nothing back there that is getting you right now. So you have to talk yourself out of the tree like a cat. You had to go, okay, so body, 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 body. Take a couple of deep breaths. We're okay here. No tiger. I know the stress is bad for my causes. I know it's not good. I know. So I'm going to choose rest and relaxation. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to breathe 3 seconds in, 5 seconds out, resets your vagus nerve. I'm going to do that. There's all kinds of manual techniques to get yourself out of sympathetic, but it's tough. You got to talk yourself out of it by realizing you're not being attacked right now. And then go in your life and see what that's like. Just try it out because it's going to be hard because your body's going to want to go over here to fight or flight because that's what it's used to. It's used to going until I can't go anymore. Because our bodies don't go from here, fight or flight, to there automatically like an animal does. You know, a deer can be chased by a tiger, escapes, shakes, eats grass. They do it automatically. We don't. We have to spend time. That's what the EE system does, is it gets us out of sympathetic into rest and relaxation. That's why we like to have people going for 2 hours. This is where we have to live our life. There are times where we pop over here because we have to do things, but this is where we need to end up 80 or 90% of the day. So we have to change our perception of our environment.
So that really becomes the biggest challenge for all of us, right? Is that piece. I mean, that would be possibly common to just about everyone that comes in to see you is kind of dealing with that and being able to compartmentalize and just get away from it.
Well, like what you're doing now, you're changing your environment. You're in a place that, I mean, that was yesterday for you, that picture, but that is amazing. You know, people between each person, I go out and I hug a tree, right? Touch a tree, and all the energy that I just picked up from that clearing went right into the tree. The tree needs me as much as I need the tree. That's why we talk about grounding so much. Um, we get inflamed by just being on rebar all day. We're positive, negative ions. The floor is pulling all of our negative ions out of us, so we're just positive inflammation. So if we don't go out into nature and actually touch something, touch the ground or touch a tree, we're not really properly grounding ourselves. So, you know, to get ourselves out of fight or flight is like resetting your chakras. Your second chakra is your adrenals, and your heart chakra. You have to slow the heart chakra down, and then the second chakra is your adrenals, and it's going like this. It's spinning so fast. You have to stick your finger both. I use my imagination in my heart chakra and then my adrenals, my second chakra, and I just slow them down in a clockwise, um, you know, circle. And then you'll feel like your brain is something just twisted off of your brain. It's the craziest thing. The breathing exercise, the 3 seconds in, 5 seconds out, resetting the vagus nerve, going into nature, grounding ourselves. These are things that I would say 80 or 90% of the people are stuck in fight or flight.
Right.
The light bulb is on and never shuts off. This is attached to your adrenal system, which is a little hat that sits on your kidneys. So the adrenal kidney combo is affected. And remember, the kidneys are the root of life, ministries of power. Once you burn out your adrenals, they don't grow back. They're done. So we have to connect the dots to our stress, living in sympathetic fight or flight, and going, this year in 2026, I'm going to figure out how to get myself over here because it's a manual job. You have to work at it. There is no easy way to get over here and go, you know, you have to change your perception. You have to slow your chakras down. You have to ground yourself. You have to talk yourself out of the tree, constantly going, I choose rest and relaxation. I choose it, body, choose it, because you got to know there's a difference. You have to know you have a choice, but you can't be in both at the same time. You have to choose one. It's a
It
biggie.
it's again, it's so empowering, and it's that taming of the monkey brain and creating the coherence, that makes so much sense. I do want to ask one point of clarity. Is that 3 seconds in through the nose and five out through the mouth, or how?
You can do it. You can do it 3 seconds in the nose and then out 5 seconds out. No, through the nose. Yeah. How I do is I go 3 seconds in through my nose and then I go out through my nose. I don't really use my mouth, but you got.
Okay.
I think it's just use your own way. I just don't
Okay.
like to breathe out. I like to just use my nose in and out. Good
Gotcha.
question though.
Gotcha. And so, the future, what's your vision of everything? The technology is rapidly expanding. I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago and went over to the EE system facility, and sworn not to talk about anything that I saw, but saw some new things that are in play, and
Yeah,
got
yeah.
super excited. What's your take on what's next, not just with EE system, but all of this, and what it means for humanity?
Well, from me, my main mission is to teach people about their own body, their own intuition, so they can discern what the truth is for them. That for me is, if people could tap into the truth of themselves, then they can say, body, do you want to go to my EE system, or do you want to go over to the one across town EE system? Which one do you want to do? Body, do you want to have this piece of fruit, or do you want to have this avocado? For me, it's just teaching the people, especially I think kids, because the faster they learn their intuition, the less trickery would be involved in them in their life. Not so many illusions are going to be in their way. I think right now for us, when we tap into the truth of us, the truth in mass consciousness will get bigger, and the lies are going to get smaller. And our subconscious, like we have these dimensions, and it's so interesting, our dimensions, but then we have these interdimensional, we have like 2 million dimensions, and we have now like 4 million, 5 million, the double interdimensions. With this interdimension space, I didn't see it even a few weeks ago. But this interdimensional space has got like 13,000 contracts in there. You just get them all out. Everything in my interdimensional space out, because this is where all the trickery is. This is where it's almost like a key to our subconscious.
Mm.
All the mirrors that we think we're talking to something, but we're really over here. So we're really not even in our golden path, all those leave. And then it becomes this vast area that you can start to download frequencies of I am healthy. I'm abundant with ease. I am grateful. I am confident. I am loving. I am unconditional love. You can download all that into this vast jelly-like area. Because if you were to say in this dimension, I am healthy, you'd be like, okay, I'm healthy. It feels kind of light. But you go into your interdimensional space and say, I am healthy, and you'll get a no. I am abundant with ease. Okay, that feels good. In my interdimensional space, I am abundant with ease. No. This is where our subconscious frequency runs our reality. 70% of it, 80% of it. You want to start downloading in here what we have been tricked our whole entire lives. And I think right now, or I sense right now, because I can feel it now. Like I've been talking about interdimensional space for years, but I haven't felt it. You're interdimensional space. Well, now I go, wait a second. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there that I can get out now. Right now is working on ourselves. Right now is being responsible for our words, our thoughts, our actions, how we're choosing to perceive our environment, and learning about what the truth of us is. It's individual responsibility and it's individual self-love. It's not putting everybody first and you dying in the corner. That curse is done. If you're a parent and you're making, food and this one's got to eat this one, I got to take this one over here and I got to do this over there, and you're dying in the corner, yeah, there's a sense of, being a parent, but what are you teaching your kid? To do that when they are a parent? So finding a way to go, you know what, kids, I'm going to take my space, between 1 and 2. This is my time. No bothering me. I'm taking care of me. I'm seeing more mothers taking care of themselves because they think if they take care of themselves, they're going to be selfish.
Right.
That's a trick. Self-love is our biggest contribution to the planet. It's not self-care. It's self-love, loving ourself. Once we love and it's easy to say, but people really don't connect into what it really means. But if you were to say, what's my contribution to the planet? To heal other, to be the witness to people healing, to giving money to charities, to taking care of my family. What's my biggest self-love? 10 out of 10. Test yourself. Ask what your biggest contribution is to this planet. It's self-love.
I love
So
that.
self-love, learn about yourself. What is your truth? And be responsible for your words, your actions, your thoughts.
I just really love everywhere this conversation went. I know that we've got to end, but I just want to ask for a quick technique on how to go into that interdimensional space and clear out those contracts.
I can send you an audio. You want me to send you an audio?
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
that.
And then you can
And
share it with anyone that wants to listen to it.
okay,
Okay,
that
but I'll do it
that
right now though. I'll do it right now though.
that's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, you okay if I do it right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we have this sovereign space, the space around us. Sovereign means mine. You can't come into my space unless you have my permission. My sovereign space, my sovereign body, my sovereign chakras, my sovereign dimensions. And I'm going to talk about the inner dimensions next because the audio is just about this. There is a law of the universe that says nothing is supposed to be in my sovereign space, my body, my chakras, my dimensions without my permission. This is the law of free agency. This is mine. It's like someone walking into your house and you go, okay, so did I agree upon you in here? No. Do you have a contract to work in here? No. Do you know about the law breaking and entering? Yes. Get out of my house. Okay, goodbye. That's how we can clear ourselves, is by number one, knowing that we're sovereign, and number two, knowing that there is a law, a free agency. People don't know that they're sovereign. They don't know that there is a law that you can't come into my space without my permission. Once we take our space back, I'm sovereign. And once we say there is a law, these energies go, oh, you got me. And they leave. It's that easy. Sometimes
Wow.
it's a little bit harder, okay? But it really is easy. So my sovereign space, my body, my chakras, my dimensions, law of the universe says nothing is supposed to be in you without my permission, agreement, or a contract. Everything here, you know that, right? And then I get like, yes, yes, then go. Boom, goodbye. The interdimensional space is a little bit different because it's so vast with so many contracts, but let's say you have 2.6 million dimensions. You're going to have 5.2 million interdimensional spaces. And it's like you take a little, like a light, like a Washington Monument, like a light beam, and go through all 2.6 million dimensions until you get to the top and you feel it release. Oh, that was good. Then the 5.2 million interdimensional space is going to be very dense because it's something it's just opening up. You're going to go all the way through it. And then you're going to have like 13,000, 18,000. I've seen 24,000 contracts in here. And you're going to
Wow.
say, all these contracts in here that I didn't know what I was signing up for, all these mirrors, it's not illusion, because illusion comes up heavy when I say the word, but it's like mirrors. Because people can be thinking they're talking to God, but they're not talking to God. They're talking to a snake. But they think I'm talking to God, so what I'm saying is true.
Mhm.
So get rid of the mirrors so you know who you're talking to. Get rid of all those contracts and ask, make a command or request. All those contracts be returned to the light. And it's going to take you about 30, 40, 50. It took me 8 hours to do this dimension when I first started. It took me like over the course of a week. I think it's going to happen faster for people, but it might take you hours to do this dimension, these interdimensional spaces. And once you feel like you've got to the top where it feels like, okay, you see light, iridescent light, you feel lighter, then you've gone through both of them. You have to do it every single day because it's going to spill over. All the stuff that you're releasing in the interdimensional space is going to spill over. You want to keep clearing this every single day. You keep at it for a couple of weeks. Then after time, you're going to feel like, okay, this is just space. This doesn't really feel like a light space. It feels like almost like a jelly-like space that you can download frequencies and you can command the frequency. I command or request the frequency of unconditional love to be put into my interdimensional spaces. I command self-confidence. I command um, abundance with ease. I command appreciation. I command joy. I command fun. All the frequencies, I command self-love, but only do like 4 or 5 at a time. And let those frequencies marinate in this space. And then when you say, okay, so I am healthy in this reality, okay, cool. And you go over your interdimensional space, I am healthy. Okay, I feel it.
Right.
In the beginning, you're not going to feel anything until you start downloading that. If you just clear the interdimensional space, you're missing 80% of the fun because it's just empty space now.
Right.
And now you can now do something. And that space is 70% of your reality. And it's a space that we have just got to, in my opinion.
Dr. Stella, I want to thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and this information, for sharing this here at the end, this amazing technique. I'm in a great spot here, hot springs and these mountains behind me. And believe me, for the next few days, I know what I'm working on.
Right.
And I want to thank you for what you're doing, not just for your patients, but for humanity as a whole, because what you're doing there in Las Vegas ripples out to humanity, people you have no idea, and it's making a difference. And I see that, and I know that, and you and Gina holding down the center there as you do, and being the energetic pillars that you are in Las Vegas, of all places, that really needs it. Like
I know.
you landed in a perfect spot to be as powerful as you are. And I just want to thank you for all that. I'm looking forward to seeing you another time, both of you, when we're back there. And yeah, I appreciate you being a guest on the It's All Good show.
And thank you for having me and being the connector. So, that's a job in its own right and doing all the work you're doing. So I appreciate you equally. So thank you for what you're doing.
You have a great day. Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
You too. Bye.